Hi everyone, welcome back to another video from our winter book by Rita Berman. I am going to be doing this little log cabin today. There are quite a few bits and pieces together with it. I'm not sure how much of it will get done because I do want to keep this to a short video like all of the others are. Going to start with the snow. I'm going to use the periwinkle blue, which is what we've used for the snow in other aspects of the picture. To remind you, what I was doing was leaving a little bit of a white gap around the edge of the snow, like that, and then filling the rest in with the blue, and somehow it just seemed to give a little interest to our snow, just like that. Now, I'm just looking to see if there's any more snow. I don't know what these are, but I don't want to do the ground because there's no background anywhere else. So I'm not going to colour, I'll colour the path, we'll do that next. I think we'll do that in a sort of grey, not too dark. Maybe the elephant grey. So I'm going to keep it quite light as I colour it. But I'm not going to do the, doesn't want to write, hang on. There we go. I don't want to do the ground around the path or else I end up having to spread the whole, where will I stop? You know, I'll end up having to colour the whole background and I don't want to colour the background on this page. I've seen some beautifully coloured backgrounds on this page, but I'm not going to. So there we go. Just a simple path. Now let's get back to our little cabin, and we have these full logs on the side, so we want a nice dark brown for the outsides of the logs, and I'm going to use the dark chocolate brown just because it's nice and sharp from where I used it earlier. And I can't get it around. Basically put a layer on everywhere that I want to be brown, this dark brown I mean, just to start with. We're going to try to colour it in such a way that you can see that these are round, which I think is easier than it sounds or would seem. I would be quite daunted to think about how to do that if I was new to colouring, but now I know the little trick. It's actually pretty straightforward. So you don't have to get a base colour down first. I like to, it just gets me started really, so I know how many layers to do. So in here put in some dark and under there, and I do the same around. I wanted a little dark line under the where the snow goes up to it, so it looks like the snow is creating a bit of a shadow. It's a little bit trickier on that one that's got the snow on it. So dark along here and then just fade it up just a little bit, and then a little bit of dark just on the top of there. And it should work. I'm sorry for my arm shading it, it's really quite awkward right in this corner. And a little bit of dark along the top. So you think this one will be in shadow and it would be shading the next one. That's basically what we're trying to do. But the shadow also starts to show us the shape of these logs. I think they could actually be a whole tree trunk, I don't know. They remind me of Little House in the Big Woods. Those of you who've read Laura Ingalls Wilder, where in the very first book in the series, Pa builds a house out of, he basically fells trees and just puts them on top of each other and makes a house. It's like, wow, how can you just do that? Just build a house. And even gets a little bit of glass for the window. And I think only when it gets to the winter time, in the summer they don't bother. I don't know what happens if it rains. Maybe it doesn't rain where they were. I guess being from this country, I always think about the rain. Right, so there are that's a sort of barky bit of those ends of wood. Now what I'm going to do with these trunks is, to me they're not quite exaggerated enough. So I'm going to go back over, put a darker layer at the bottom, and then just spread it up a little bit. Just a little bit. Just checking my lights on, it seems quite dark. I think it's because it's a bit rainy today. It's a bit dark. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm thinking I might use this colour for the door frame as well. My boiler is making a lot of noise. It's just below me now. Now, for the ends of the wood, I think I'm going to use the camel brown. Oops, there he is. It's a little bit unblunt. I'm going to sharpen it. I'm going to use it here. I don't want it to be too dark, but I need you to be able to see that I've put some colour there and it's not white. So just put down enough layers, and I'm going to use the same colour in here. I don't know what colour I'm going to do for the door. I can't imagine what a door would be made of in a log house. I would think it would be made of wood, but I don't want it to look the same as the rest. Now there'll be some shadow underneath the wood, this bit. I'm thinking it would sort of overhang, so I'm just going to make that a little bit darker, like that. Maybe it would be cut wood. Let's try this. Burnt ochre. Camel brown. There we go. So it looks like wooden slats. Don't know, just my idea. Now we have the smoke coming out of the chimney. I'm going to do a bit of a darker grey than we did for the path, just so that it doesn't look the same. This is a pewter grey. It's quite dark, so I'm going to try and go really quite gently. You don't have to do your smoke really dark. But I think it's one. There we go. And the actual chimney, it's not going to be made of wood, is it? Let's grab this grey, the colour of the path, the elephant grey, and colour it with that, because I'm thinking maybe it would be the same sort of stone. I'm just going to make the top piece a bit darker all over, and then the little bit darker each side. That's all dark, isn't it? Okay. Now we have I'm thinking of these mushrooms, toadstools, something like that. So I think I'm going to go in there with a red. Let's use the carmine red and just colour them all. I'm going to do them a little bit darker at the bottom and fade towards the top, I'm thinking. And I'm thinking they might have snow on. The house has got snow on. Why haven't these? The trees haven't either though, have they? I guess it doesn't matter, does it? Just, I'm keeping them all the same. You don't have to do them all the same, but I think it sort of looks more joined. If you do, I mean, you could do a few different shades of red, I guess, but I wouldn't do a few red and a few blue and a few green. I think it would be a little bit confusing. So you might wonder what they were. I suppose it could be flowers, and then maybe they would be different colours. I quite like the idea of putting some dots of white on them to make them look a bit more mushroomy. So I'm going to use my Posca white. Now I don't know if it's going to work on top of this red. Sometimes red bleeds through, but we'll see. I want to have a go. It's often pink that bleeds through the most, so hopefully this won't. I think it just helps me to think, oh yeah, They look more like mushrooms / toadstools. So that's, you don't have to do this. If you don't have a white pen, you could do them black with a you could use a black pencil, but I think a pen would show up better if you've got a fine liner or even just any black pen really. Okay, trees. What sort of shades of green should we do? I don't really want, yeah, I think this is a nice shade. This is the mint green, and I'm going to do part of the trees in this and then part in a different colour, but I'm going to do both of them the same 2 colours. Now I'm risking here leaning on my white pen. I'm going to just fade it towards the top a little bit. I think it just gives it a bit more interest. It would be a bit darker nearer the bottom, perhaps where there might be more shadows. It's not a realistic looking tree in any sense. You can make it more realistic if you want to, but I'm quite happy to embrace Rita's fun design. So really dark down here, you just have to layer it up a little bit more and then have less as you go up. Now this one, I think rather than make the larger areas this green, I think I shall make the smaller areas the same colour as this bigger area. So I'm just going to colour these bits in the mint and fade it towards the outside, I think. Now I'm thinking maybe that outside edge is snow, but it might not be. I want a darker green. Oops. This is the fern green. I'm going to use that. I do need to sharpen it. Now on this tree, I'm just going to block these lines in because they're not that big. You can fade them in the same way as this section, so darker here and lighter there, darker here and lighter there, but I'm just going to block them in. I'm going to do more fading on this tree. This is a tiny area, but I'm going to try and make it dark at the bottom and at the top and just repeat that through. So darker here, more layers, and then less as I go up. Like that. Now this tree has a stem, trunk, that's the word. So I'm just going to grab that dark chocolate brown that we've been using. Just fill that in, nothing fancy. I want this trunk to be a bit bigger. Sorry Rita, but that little tiny stick doesn't look like it'll support that tree. Now for the snow, we'll grab our periwinkle blue again and just do a little bit inside that area, trying to leave the edges white. It's quite a small area, just do a little bit like that. Okay, now above the cottage here we have this snowflake, and I think I'm going to use the periwinkle blue on that as well, and I'm going to do the same thing and leave a white edge on it like I have on all the other snowy things. Make it a bit lighter as we come in towards the middle if possible. There we go. How are we doing for time? I think we'll leave some of this for another video actually. I think I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, because I can't decide quite what to do with that bit over there. So I'm going to leave that for now, but there will be more. I will finish the page in videos, but the next lot will probably be, there's not such a big thing to do, so we'll probably be bunching a few together, making sort of 15-minute videos each time. I'm not quite sure how long that will take us. Depends how much detail and time I spend on each item. But for now, that's me, but come back for the next instalment. If you subscribe, you'll get a notification of when that's ready for you. But for now, thank you very much for watching and happy colouring.